Keep ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. It's a stirring poem, and many immigrants and other people have been inspired by it over the years. But because it idealizes America, there have been many also who have read it and lamented all the things our government and citizens have done wrong or neglected to do. The United States of America, although it was founded on the principles of liberty, has at times taken many years to extend that liberty to particular groups of citizens, such as black slaves and women. Many more people have become disillusioned when they discover our country cannot be the idealized Colossus they want it to be. Our gospel text for today includes words that sound similar to Emma Lazarus' poem. Come to me, all you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light, says Jesus. Well, at least the first sentence sounds similar. Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. But the last sentence, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light, sounds a bit like a TV commercial that has a really great product, and you're paying close attention, and then it's just 4 easy payments of $19.95. Time to mute the commercial or turn the TV off in disgust. Take my yoke upon you. We want to talk back. What do you mean, Jesus? You just said you would give me rest, and then you want me to take on your burden, your yoke? So I should swap one heavy thing for another? No, thank you. But here's the difference. Although it seems a little like that old con game called bait and switch, Jesus' words mean something much different. It was common for rabbis in his day to take on pupils who, it was said, were learning under the yoke of Rabbi so-and-so. It meant being yoked to your teacher, or to the Torah, as with a team of oxen, pulling together, sharing the burden. Jesus is asking us to take his yoke upon us. But the main question is, does that take away from the words of comfort? We dearly want to have rest now, not when we die. We have so many burdens: illness, grief, worry, difficult relationships, unemployment, loneliness. What kind of rest will Jesus give as we assume his easy yoke, his burden? In studying this text, I realized that the word rest is related to God's resting on the 7th day of creation, as we heard a few weeks ago, and so related to the word for Sabbath. Jesus is saying that he will give us a Sabbath rest as we find rest for our souls. And we haven't even been creating the world, only our own lives. Or do we even have the power to create our own lives? It often seems as if we have very little control over what happens to us on a daily basis. We don't consciously choose those burdens. We suffer them. It's just the way the world is. And those of us who call ourselves Christian try to choose well based on what we think God would like us to do. But we still stumble and bumble around. We live in a time that the theologians call the already and the not yet. And often the not yet hits us right between the eyes. On our American Independence Day, we celebrate our hard-won freedom from foreign tyranny. But we often face tyranny inside ourselves. As Paul says in today's lesson, I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. The problem is, we try so very hard. We try to be good Christian people, following Jesus and what he might want for us. But we just can't say to ourselves, straighten up and fly right. Use this guide. Even if this guide is the religion we call Christianity. We end up miserable because whenever we try to use such a guide, and we know it because it is full of should language. We should do this and we should do that. Whenever we try to use such a guide, the only thing we can measure is how much we hurt or how much we fall short. Theologian Paul Tillich, in a radical statement about our gospel text, says that Jesus has not come to bring another religion, but to save us from religion. In his words, we would turn down his call with hatred if he called us to the Christian religion, or to the Christian doctrines, or to the Christian morals. We would not accept his claim to be meek and humble and to give rest to our souls if he gave us new commands for thinking and acting. Jesus is not the creator of another religion, but the victor over religion. He's not the maker of another law, but the conqueror of law. I invite you to think of Jesus not as the Colossus, or even the new Colossus, but the true Colossus. The true Colossus, who is gentle and humble in heart, who reveals himself to those who are called infants, those who on the Sermon on the Mount, in the Sermon on the Mount, he calls the pure in heart. And the pure in heart can be of any age. And that's the yoke he offers to share with us, the yoke that is easy or kind, the yoke that we come to recognize fits us perfectly, with a minimum of chafing. He shares it with us. He who conquers because of this gentle and humble heart, the resurrected one, offers to share our burden with us, and we will be conquerors through him. Some of you may not know it, but a priest or pastor stole this thing around my neck, if I can touch it without making the mic go crazy, whose color changes with the seasons of the church year. This represents the yoke of Jesus as well as the ordained ministry. Now, many Christians assume that only clergy are specially yoked with Jesus, but that's not true. What's more significant is this white robe I wear. It's called an alb, from the Latin word alba, meaning white. It represents the white garment of those who've been baptized. When the earliest Christians were baptized, they emerged from the water and were clothed with a white robe, symbolizing the new life of those who are now yoked with Christ. So when a pastor or priest wears an alb, it's to represent that we are baptized and yoked with Jesus. Eucharistic ministers also wear a white alb when assisting with the service. And when you die as a Christian and have a Christian funeral, I encourage you to have a white cloth on your casket or your urn called the baptismal pall, as a reminder that you are one of the baptized, yoked with Jesus and precious to him in life and in death. Here today, we offer two ways to come to Christ our Lord with burdens of body, heart, and mind. The first is to come forward for anointing, laying on of hands in prayer, which we offer every first Sunday. And the second is to come forward a little later to his table, where you are invited to come every Sunday. There you'll find forgiveness, strength, and Sabbath rest. He will feed you with himself and remind you of who you are. One loved forever and yoked with him through his death and resurrection. You don't need to have the right understanding. As Jesus said, wisdom and intelligence are not required here. And if for some reason you're not prepared to come to the table today, know that no law says that you should or must come. Jesus Christ has freed you in love. As Christians, we can never celebrate the Christian Independence Day because we are yoked with the one who frees us and who makes us free to serve others in his name.